Yo, what's good YouTube? Today's video is going to be a tier list video. First time I'm doing this, whole bunch of tiers from S all the way to D on your favorite self-improvement books. Alright, so before you guys send the goddamn mafia after me, all this is just my opinion, which means its value is just as much as a bunch of pointless screeching, okay? So before you guys send the goddamn CIA and goddamn Delta Force after me, okay, this video is just an opinion. Alright, so let's get it started. The 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. Honestly guys, we're gonna give this book a B. It's a lot of great information, but none of it is really like profound. Like, this is all stuff that you guys should already know as more advanced self-improvement dudes, you know, like unless this is like one of your first ever books you're ever reading, then okay, it'd probably be like pretty profound. But you guys should know most of the rules that he says in this book already. Next book comes from Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power, and I'm gonna give this book an A, guys. This is an A-level book, okay? And I know you guys probably think, oh, like it's so generic, everyone knows that book. There's a reason why everyone knows this book, because it's the value that it gives you in terms of social skills and just understanding human social skills and navigating pretty much leverage, how to get leverage in interactions. It's going to help you in like every facet of your life. It's going to help you in your job, it's going to help you in dating, it's going to help you like making friends, like literally anything you can think of. 48 Laws of Power has it to help you gain leverage. In the 4 agreements, I honestly didn't think much of it by the reader, like by the author. The author makes a lot of like kind of woo-woo, kind of magic books kind of thing. But this book surprised me. I'm gonna put it in the B category. It was pretty helpful, to be honest. The next book, yeah, I know I'm gonna get some flack for this because everyone loves Tim Ferriss and the 4-Hour Workweek, but I'm gonna give it a C, guys. I'm gonna put this book in the C category because I think a lot of what he teaches just kind of, it's not woo-woo, but he's kind of selling you guys a dream, right? Like, oh, you can only work 4 hours a week. It's like, nah, bro. No successful person works for 4 hours a week. I think if you change a title to like 4 hours a day work week, then it's like, okay, yeah, that's more believable. But 4 hours a week, it's like, come on, bro, you're not gonna. it's impossible, you know. And I think it's also a bit outdated. Like some of the stuff he talks a lot about, like when the internet first came about and like people were still mailing shit in the mail, and you know, it's just a little bit outdated. And you know, I think there's better books in terms of business building, like The Millionaire Fastlane and Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. But for that, we're gonna get 4-Hour Workweek a C rating. Next one is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I do think this is a staple book. You know, if you're just looking to improve yourself, become a better dude, you know, you've got to read it. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's life-changing. You know, like a lot of this stuff is talked about in a lot of other books. So it's like, you know, like pick your poison. I'm gonna give it a B. The next one is going to be, it was pretty hard for me to determine because it is a boring read. I'm not gonna lie, Deep Work by Cal Newport is extremely boring. It took me a while to read it, even though it's not even that long, but the value that I got from that book for only like 200 and something pages is incredible. I'm gonna put this in the A category. Okay, read Deep Work by Cal Newport if you can. The next book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Guys, this book is a must read. It is a must read, and for that it goes in the S tier. This book profoundly changed the way that I look at my goals and the way that I'm attacking my life and my goals. So if you're into like business, you know, you're into the more productivity side of self-improvement, definitely pick up The One Thing by Gary Keller. Our next book is Mastery by Robert Greene. Robert Greene always makes hits, guys. This book, if you're looking to just become better at your skill, like whatever you are doing and you want to become better, whether it's to climb that social hierarchy or make more money, whatever the case may be, this book has your answers, and for that it goes in the A category. Now this book, it's super long, alright? It's like, it looks like it's about 400 or 500 pages, it's probably not, but the pages are super long and there's just so much information that it's kind of a book you read like in chunks. So, you know, don't be afraid by the size of it. You trust me, you're gonna get a lot of value from this book. Read it. Mastery. The Way of the Superior Man. Honestly, this book is amazing. Couldn't recommend it more. A tier, guys. David Dieter really did a good job with this, just explaining. And you know, it's not like a blue pill kind of like, you know, advice like what everyone says, like, oh, don't be emotional. Guys, like he goes really in depth on just every facet of being a man, kind of. So I think for men, this is a must read. Okay, next book is Models Attract Women Through Honesty. And honestly, I think, guys, for a self-help book, a self-development book in terms of dating, there's better options out there. I'm gonna put this in the C category. It's nothing profound, you know. It's aight, you know. I think in terms of learning game, you can learn a lot more just from going out than whatever this book can teach you. Next, guys, is The Happiness Advantage. And I did like this book. You know, it was okay, you know. It didn't change my life. It didn't bring down unicorns from the sky and, you know, gold and, you know, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But it was okay. It was a pretty good read. And for that, I'm going to put it in the B category. And I do think that anything investing in your mental health or your happiness is going to trickle over in all aspects of your life. It's going to make you more money. It's going to make you more successful, better at relationships, all this stuff, guys. So for that, I'm going to put it in the B category. Next is Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. And I think in terms of, if we're talking about business books and negotiating books, I think this one's very average. I don't think it's like anything special. I think Brian Tracy's The Psychology of Selling knocks this one out of the park. It pretty much tells you how to influence and sell to people, but I don't really, it kind of sucks, to be honest, in terms of business. So for that, I'm gonna put that in the D category. Sorry. And the next book is actually a Brian Tracy book. And you know, you guys just heard me hype up Brian Tracy. Now I'm going to bring him back down to earth a little bit, because this book in particular is the worst book I've read from Brian Tracy. So for that, it also goes in the D category. It pretty much like just says the same thing over and over. Brian Tracy, I'm super disappointed in you that you even wrote this book, because I love Goals by you. I loved Goals, and I loved The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. If you can, read those two books, but not this one. No Excuses, that's one that you can skip, and trust me, you ain't missing much. So the next book is The One Thing, but we already rated that in S tier, so we're gonna skip it. And then the next one after that is PsychoCybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And guys, this book is great, all right? Like, in terms of just self-image, he teaches you self-image, right? I think it's a problem that so many dudes, like so many young dudes, need to work on, is self-image. Not even dudes, but just people. Like in this modern social media age, this book is written like 40, I think it was written like 40, 50 years ago, but it doesn't apply more now than ever, guys. Like, this book, this is a timeless masterpiece. And for that, it goes in the S tier. I think everyone should read PsychoCybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. Next one is .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. It was, I think the lessons that he teaches in terms of funneling on your websites is I think it's gonna get a little bit outdated. But the good thing is, I think he does update them. He's still writing books, so hopefully he'll come out with a better one in the future. But I think the lessons in terms of funneling your customers and building them up like in like a pyramid, and how to build your sales character, I still think there's a lot of useful lessons that you can get from .com Secrets. And for that, I'm gonna put it in the A category. Good job, Russell Brunson. Now, Power versus Force. Now, this book is boring, it's super hard to read, and it's honestly kind of depressing. I'd say skip it if you can. I'm gonna put it in the D tier. Guys, there's better books about human nature and psychology than Power versus Force, to be honest with you. The next one was an interesting book, but honestly, I feel like with the cash flow quadrant, you could understand this concept from a 10-minute YouTube video. Honestly, like do that right after you watch this video. Look up the cash flow quadrant summary, and you'll literally understand this book in a 10-minute video. And for that, I'm gonna forcefully put it in the C category. Yes, it's, you know, it was useful to know, but I kind of already knew it, and you know, I didn't think he had to write a whole book about it. Okay, so that's why it goes in the C category. The 10 times rule. So this book is pretty much about literally just like, it can be summarized in one sentence. If you want something, work 10 times harder to get it. And for that, I don't think that's entirely true all the time. So for that, I'm gonna put that in the D category. I just personally don't agree with that. I think just working harder and just attacking it harder, like, you know, like a hamster on a wheel, you know, you can just tire yourself out and get depressed that way. So D. Now this next book, Cant Hurt Me. Honestly, guys, if there was a tier above S tier, this book would belong in that. Like, this book doesn't even belong in this chart. Cant Hurt Me is just, if you haven't read Cant Hurt Me, buy it right now, alright? If this guy can turn his life around, then you can too. And just talking about it makes me want to get up right now and run a 100-mile marathon, okay? This is the most motivating piece of literature that I've read in my life to date, in terms of physical motivation. So for that, it goes in the S tier. Alright, pick this book up if you can. The next one is Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This book, it's cool. It's a staple. I would say it's a staple, but it's not really life-changing. Honestly, I knew a lot of this stuff just naturally, this kind of person I am. I just kind of naturally knew it already, but yeah, I do think it's a staple for a lot of people, especially if your confidence isn't really that high, guys. So for that, it goes in the B category. How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book is great, honestly. Again, any book that helps with like guys like social intelligence and just like making friends is, I think, more than worth it. And Dale Carnegie just did a great job of it. Nothing more to say than that. Pick it up when you can. You're gonna learn a lot from it. A tier. So next, I didn't read any of these books here, so for that we're gonna skip to No More Mr. Nice Guy, which, you know, if you are a nice guy, then yeah, definitely read it. But I think I get a feeling that most of you guys already know not to be a nice guy and don't simp and over pursue women. So for you guys, I'm gonna put that in the D category. You can go ahead and skip it, to be honest. Next was Who Moved My Cheese? And this book, guys, I feel like it told me a lot of things, but it didn't really teach me anything, if that makes sense. I didn't really learn anything from this book. I can't really explain it any dumber than that, so I'm going to also put it in the D category. Next up, Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And I read this book in like 2 days. It was a super fast read. And honestly, it's motivating, but it kind of tells you the same thing over and over. It's one of those books where like you can like deduce what it's like, what the entire book is saying by just reading through the table of contents and reading the chapters. All right, so for that, you know, I like the book, but I'm forced to put it in the C category, even though I liked it. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Next up, The Power of Now. Now, this book is the king of repeating shit over and over, and is the king of literally just being able to read what a whole like 5 pages says just by reading the title chapter, the chapter title. So for that, you know, I'm gonna be generous and put it in the C. All right, you know, yeah, I think if you're into like a bunch of woo-woo nonsense, then go ahead, knock yourself out. But if you're a man trying to like get on your shit right now, then you can go ahead and skip this one. All right. Next up is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and honestly, just like a lot of Robert Kiyosaki's books, it covers a lot of basic content. All right, like a lot of lessons are more basic. If you know anything about like finances, then you're gonna know everything that's already in this book. Just like the basics. Oh, like, you know, don't work for someone, be a boss. You know, like don't spend all your money investing. You know, it's pretty much like basic like nonsense. You know what I mean? Just basic. Actually, he advocates for investing. Actually, he tells you, oh, like just invest, save time, build your company, don't work for someone. You know, it's just basic shit, you know. So for that, I'm gonna put it in the D. You can go ahead and skip that. Read The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco instead. And then the last one that we're gonna rate, I didn't read The Secret either, but last one we're gonna rate is Think and Grow Rich. All right, Think and Grow Rich. This book is absolute. I don't know. Maybe I just think it's a game changer because it's one of the first books that I read personally. I don't know. You guys tell me. Shit. Like I think it goes in the A category. I'm gonna put it in the A category, but it's also one of the first self-improvement books that I read. So maybe it had a more profound impact on me personally. I don't know, but I do think that in terms of just energies and mindset and all this good shit, you know, you guys know I'm high on that. So for that, it was in the A tier, and that's the video. Yo, if you liked it, you can like it or subscribe. I don't really give a fuck. Peace.